for us?
No, Taylor.
No, Taylor.
Yes.
Well, Morgan won. Taylor didn't.
That is. I'm not gonna say that in front of Taylor, but that's true.
All right, we're rolling.
All right. When you think that Women's College World Series was started 40 years ago, what thoughts come to your head?
That's a long time. What should I say about that? Sorry, you didn't prep me with these questions. I thought I was just talking about myself.
My God. Are you serious?
What? What do you want me to say?
All right. Take us back to 2009. What do you remember about the games leading up to the championship series?
2009 Women's College World Series. It seems like it's its own season. It's I've got so many memories just from that week. You've got the Arizona State game that was neck and neck for so long, and then you go into the Georgia series, and that was insane. We've got our rivalry with Georgia, and I just remember my teammates. I remember looking around the field right before the last pitch that Danielle threw against Florida, and those are memories that I'll have forever.
I hear you talk and you say that you had the best week of your life in OKC. Talk to us about what that felt like, the ball feeling big, or what you smelled or remembered, or how you were just in such a zone.
Excuse me. Slide over a little bit. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Big old mirror.
Cool. I describe the World Series as one of the best weeks I've had of my life. I was seeing the ball big, and honestly, I could just zone in on the game like I never had before. I was able to enjoy my family being at the games. My brother and one of his friends flew in for the championship series, and that was a cool memory for me as well. I make jokes all the time. I'm still in the softball world, and a lot of people think I'm this great hitter for seeing me in just that 1 week of TV coverage, so that's pretty cool.
Talk to us about that champ series, walking down the foul line and seeing your brother.
You've heard me talk about this before.
This hasn't.
Okay. We had just gotten done with warm-ups. Danielle was done singing her Canadian national anthem in the warm-up fields. We were going through our routine. I had my peanut butter pretzels in my hand. You had to eat so many, just all of our softball routine. I look up in the stands and I see my brother in all Washington gear, and he hadn't been there, and my mom had been saying, yeah, they're gonna try to come. I spot him in the crowd and I just immediately start bawling. I get into the dugout, I see Coach Tar, and she's like, what's wrong? Because I think at that point I had multiple hits leading up to the championship series. I had hits in every game, which for me, I was like, yeah, I'm doing really well. And I just start bawling, crying. She goes, oh God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, my brother's here. And it's such a cool memory. I mean, it's my first time being at the College World Series and first time performing like I thought I could. And my parents are there, family's there, everything's going well. So it's a really happy memory.
Do you remember anything specific about what it sounded like, or smells, or anything that you can vividly remember experiencing as a player on the field?
As a player on the field, it always smelled like crayons. That's what I remember. It smelled like it was hot. I remember wearing sleeves when it was, 100 degrees, or I don't know what the humidity was, but I always wore sleeves because I didn't want the sweat dripping down your hands. It sounds so gross, but it's Oklahoma, so that's just how you rolled. And once you wear sleeves in one game and you win, you got to wear sleeves the next game. You can wash them, but you got to do it.
Tell us about,
Put me, I'm never going to stand out there on the field. I'm never going to know what that experience is like. You're out there in the dirt, you've got the crowd around you. Put me in your shoes. What was that like?
Yeah, I think before warm-ups, I was the most nervous. When they announced, Washington, it's your time for warm-ups, and your hands get all sweaty. I mean, my hands are getting sweaty right now, and you got kind of a nervous feeling in your stomach, and don't want to mess up your throws because you have so many kids watching you. You've got your parents in the stands, and you just want to do well for all these other people. And then once you get moving out there, it's like any other game. And then there's little glimpses of you kind of have your blinders on because you're told over and over during season, it's the same game. You got to get to first, turn left, same game, same game. But then you have little things like you see Holly Rowe up interviewing somebody, you're like, wow, I've seen her do that before. Or I've seen that on TV before. And there's just these little glimpses that bring that feeling in your stomach back of like, whoa, I'm really doing this. Whoa, I'm like those women were on TV before me. It's surreal. It's one of those things that you feel like you've imagined this so many times. You've hoped that you are going to get there, and there's no guarantee. When you sign your letter of intent or when you commit to a school, all these coaches are telling you, well, you could be part of the first team to ever win at this school. And you're like, well, that would be really cool. And then you're there, and it's such a cool feeling. It's, again, obviously it's hard to describe, but.
What was it like being part of the first?
Part of the first team is really, really cool because Coach Tar was always there talking about all the teams that came before. Basically, we're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants of, all right, well, this team made it to the World Series, this team got second place, and being the first team felt like we were doing it for those women that came before us, for sure.
What about when that last out was made? What do you remember?
I remember right before the out. I remember looking at Jen Salling, at Ashley Charters, at Nikki Williams, at Danielle, and just going, she's going to do this. She's going to strike her out right now. And then you think, what am I going to do with my glove? Why am I thinking about what am I going to do with my glove? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And then finally she strikes her, and you're like, okay, God, that was the best. Okay, I'm going to throw it. You know.
So what did you do with your glove?
I threw it. That was the first time ever. I think I've been so respectful of my glove all the time. I mean, they teach you like how to respect your gear and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I threw that thing.
And then what did you do after?
We got in a little dog pile, I think. Pretty sure. Everybody ended up dog piled. And I don't remember a lot after that. Just being happy.
What are you most proud of from that week?
Most proud that I could show up when I needed to show up, and I know that's not always a controllable, but I am proud that I was present and I got to actually experience it instead of kind of being in my own head. One of my favorite memories is the Arizona State game, and not the actual hit that was the game-winning hit, but the pitch right before. I fouled it straight back, and I knew Marty Tyson was in the stands, and I heard it in his head, just thinking that, oh, she's ready. She's ready. And I remember just thinking, okay, well, I was ready to attack that one. I've got the next one. And that walk-off, I think, was one of the only walk-offs of my life. And I was able to perform right then. And it was really cool. I got punched in the face after that with the celebration. It gets intense out there.
All right, last thing. You're going to look straight into the camera, and you're going to pretend this is played day one to the 8 teams at the World Series, and you're going to give advice. So speaking from experience, what's your advice to those competing at the World Series, the 40th World Series?
I have to talk to the camera.
The guy on the phone?
What's that?
The guy on the phone, is he okay?
I don't know. I already told him to move once, so fuck it.
Come on, bro. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
If I have any advice for the 8 teams competing in the World Series, I would say never give up. You absolutely never know until you are 100% out what could happen. And you could miss a pop fly with the sun in your eyes, and the next hit could be what makes the difference in the energy and the momentum of the entire tournament. So never give up, and be present and be there for your team.
How happy are you that I didn't ask you about that? I could
have. That is what you've asked me about like every year since package deal. Oh, what about
she missed
John?
a pop fly that was foul, Lisa Kohler, and she hits a home run in the next next pitch.
Yeah, but that didn't matter.
Exactly.
It mattered at the time, and it was very, very upsetting.
Yeah, but that's one like microcosm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who cares about the rest of my hitting career? I hit